think most Americans realize that it is, if you're exposed, that you have 21 days. If you go beyond 21 days, you're at virtually no risk of Ebola if you go that far. But it's conceivable then that after 14 or 15 days, you in fact can still get Ebola. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I want to go back to the restricting of travel, particularly by non-U.S. citizens, visas, 150 folks a day into the U.S. From West Africa. So it's the conditions, as you talked about, exit screening. All folks from there are exit screened. So it's perfectly conceivable that someone even after 14 days can exit screen. They're okay, no fever, and in fact get to their destination, perhaps in the United States, and have the worst. Is that right?
Yes.
So if our fundamental job is to protect the American public, the administration, as I understand it, as I've looked at the legal language, the President does have the legal authority to impose a travel ban because of health reasons, including Ebola. Is that not correct?
I don't have the legal expertise to answer that question.
I saw language earlier today. We can share that with you. But he does, from what we understand, not only an executive order that former President Bush issued when he was president, but also legal standing as well. So if you have the authority, and it's my understanding again, that a number of African countries around West Africa, around particularly these three nations, in fact have imposed a travel ban from those three countries into their country. Is that not true?
I don't know the details of the restrictions. There are some restrictions.
It's my understanding that they've said no, and including even Jamaica, as I read in the press earlier this week, has issued a travel ban from folks coming from West Africa. You aware of that?
I don't know the details of what other countries have done. I know some of the details, and some of them have been in flux.
Well, I guess the question that I have is, if other countries are doing the same, and as you said, the fundamental job of the U.S. now is to protect American citizens, why cannot we move to a similar ban for folks who may or may not have a fever, knowing in fact that the exposure rate 14 days or 15 days is well within the 21 days, and in fact knowing 150 folks coming a day, not 100%, it's 94% in terms of screening from U.S. airports. It seems to me that this is not a fail-safe system that's been put into place at this point.
Mr. Chairman, may I give a full answer?
I look forward to it.
Right now, we know who's coming in. If we try to eliminate travel, the possibility that some will travel overland, will come from other places, and we don't know that they're coming in, will mean that we won't be able to do multiple things. We won't be able to check them for fever when they leave.
Do we not have, if I can interrupt you just for a second, do we not have a record of where they've been before, i.e. a passport or travel status as they travel from one country to another?
Borders can be porous, especially, may I finish?
Go ahead.
Especially in this part of the world. We won't be able to check them for fever when they leave. We won't be able to check them for fever when they arrive. We won't be able, as we do currently, to take a detailed history to see if they were exposed when they arrive. When they arrive, we wouldn't be able to impose quarantine as we now can if they have high-risk contact. We wouldn't be able to obtain detailed locating information, which we do now, including not only name and date of birth, but email addresses, cell phone numbers, addresses of friends, so that we could identify and locate them. We wouldn't be able to provide all of that information as we do now to state and local health departments so that they can monitor them under supervision. We wouldn't be able to impose controlled release, conditional release on them, or active monitoring if they're exposed, or to, in other ways...
My time is expiring. I know I got a swift gavel over here to my left.